So I'm gapping these plugs out to 50 thousandths. You've watched me do this before. If you're still paying attention, you should really pay attention right now. I don't know if there's a block off plate or something that goes between the engine and the transmission, like on the 124 Spider. But it is entirely possible to pull this plug out and drop it, and it will hit the starter, and then there's a hole between the block and the bell housing, and you can drop the spark plug all the way in and it will go behind the flywheel and get stuck. Just so you know. I had to get under the car and kind of realign it, and then I had to take my magnetic probe and go down in there and fish around, and I was able to pull it out. So be careful. Try not to drop it, because it can go behind the flywheel. You can only I can't make this up, okay? It can only happen on a Fiat. Now I'm scared. Now I'm scared to put the plug back in. Don't drop it. Number 4, which is the hardest one. Number 3. So that's after one pass. We did about 16 miles, most of it at wide open throttle. Looks good. And then I just wipe it off with the scratch pad once it's been gapped. Don't drop it behind the flywheel. Fiat! Here's the other thing. Don't forget to put the dipstick back in. Because if you don't, then when you get back from doing a video run, there's oil splashed all over everything, and you're going to spend a couple hours cleaning it. At least I did. Now then, you've watched me do this before, but not with the hood on. So since we're adding spark and running lean, more lean, we can add fuel. So I'm going to move this one tick on this spring, and that'll throw it open a little bit more. It's a 7. And then I want to mark my current position in case I lose it. I really can't see that. Testors model paint. Put a dot. Now we can see it. So I'm going to loosen this up. Like that, I suppose. That's the way I did it the last time. Then I need to move this. Grab this. Good thing I marked it, because I lost it twice. That'll be my reference point from now on. So 50 thousandths gap on the plugs, and then I added one tick on the spring wheel, so that should throw some more fuel. I'll put it in the car, we'll go for another run and see what the numbers look like. On this episode, we're going to do another little tuning run. So the last thing we did was we gapped the plugs out to 50 thou. And then I made a 1 tick adjustment on the AFM spring. So we added 1 tick of fuel. We made it more rich. So the car's not fully warmed up yet. But just with that 1 change, the air-fuel ratio on idle went from 13s down to 12.5. So we added that much fuel. We can tune this. Car's not fully warmed up yet, but once it's fully warmed up, we can make adjustments on that screw and adjust our idle. We can go back to that screw and make adjustments on our idle mixture. But I'm gonna take it for a spin. We'll see what it looks like. Get it warmed up. So today, the only difference that may affect the mixture is the temperature. So we got a cold front and it's, you know, like 40 something degrees outside. So we're getting a colder air intake. Colder air is more dense. So you're gonna get a better burn ratio with a colder intake charge. Summertime, when it's hot, 100 degrees outside, air's not as dense. So far what I'm seeing I like. We're gonna make a run and see what happens. So I'm going to call out some of the numbers just so I have them, because it's hard to see and I know you can't see it because of the glare. a couple turns on that idle screw and we went from 12.4, 12.5 into the 13s at idle. When we go drive it, that's not going to make a permanent change on the way the car runs, only the idle mixture. So what did we do in this video? All right, so we started with plug gap at 30 thousandths and we were making readings on the AFR, and we changed the plug gap to 40 thousandths, and that raised our air fuel ratio into the mid 13s, low 14s a couple times, and then under wide open throttle it would dip down into the 12s and then go back to the 13s. So then we gapped the plugs out to 50 thousandths and added one more tick of fuel off the spring. And then we went this run, and so we were mid 13s, wide open throttle, we were down into like 12.5, 12.7, and then it would creep back up into the low 13s. So we added plug gap, which increased our volumetric efficiency and increased our air fuel ratio. Then we added more fuel to a larger gap and maintained about the same level. So with all of that, we were able to add more fuel. More fuel means more power, and we're maintaining the same AFR, so that's good. Here's what I'm really interested in, and it's just going to be another tuning thing. So if we added more plug gap and then added more fuel, the wider gap, better spark, better burn rate, we may be able to increase timing. But also, what I'm really curious about is what's going to happen when we throw the header on there. So this is the stock exhaust. It's been slightly modified, but stock exhaust manifold into the stock downpipe and into the basically the stock exhaust system down here. So when we put the header on, we know that the header is going to increase our volumetric efficiency by getting more exhaust out quicker. So that should raise our air fuel ratio up again, make it more lean, because now we're getting more air out, and then we'll be able to add more fuel. So see how this goes? We make a small adjustment, we can add fuel. We can make a small adjustment, add fuel. And we know that because we can read what our air fuel ratio is on our AFR. Otherwise, you're just kind of guessing. So if you were doing this on a carbureted setup, once we gapped the plugs out to 50 thousandths, you probably could have made a jet change to bring those numbers back into the correct mixture rating. But again, you need some data. The data comes off the AFR gauge, and then we make our adjustments over here. So that's all for this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button. Helps the channel out. I think we can do it in a weekend. We'll just get the exhaust system, the header and stuff, and take this off, put it on, and then start tuning on that. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.